Welcome back, everyone, to Global War 1914, Operation Albatross. This is the fall-winter of 1917 for Great Britain. And before we get into Great Britain's turn, I'm going to go back to Germany's turn real quick and kind of clarify something. So we do roll for the Russian collapse at the beginning of every turn starting in the spring of 1917. So my initial thought for rolling for the Russian collapse was correct, even though I doubted myself later. So that means that we will, next turn in the spring of 1918, we will subtract 3 from the Russian collapse roll. So we would need a 9 or higher to trigger the Russian collapse. But that will get modified by +1 because Russia still owns East Prussia. So the result of that will be a 10 or higher. All right, now we can get into Britain. So for purchases, we have to account for some convoy rating, and that's going to cost us $11. We get our free Canadian fighter from the random event, and we have to keep in mind that next turn, fighters get an upgrade to 1918 technology, and after we place this guy on the board, we'll have a total of 3 fighters, assuming that none of them get destroyed this turn. And so that's going to cost us $6 to upgrade all of them, potentially. Other purchases, we're going to upgrade a colonial infantry to an infantry for 2, cash and carry an artillery for 4, purchase an artillery for 5, 2 trench fighters for $4, 3 colonial troops for 6, 2 cavalry for 8, and then round it out by purchasing 2 infantry for 6. For technology, we're going to try and finish off improve logistics, get to stage 4, and we get a new tech that we can put on the board. And we're going to go for strategic bombers. Both are 7 or higher. All right, strategic bombers, we'll do the black die, and logistics, we will do the brown. And we miss on both. All right. For combat moves, I'll start down here in Africa. We're going to send everything we have. It's 3 infantry and an artillery from British East Africa into British East Africa into German East Africa. We're going to try and do as much damage to these submarines as we can here in A21. So we are going to take a seaplane from the British Midlands and put him on map, and then another seaplane from Leon Castile, he will go on map as well. And because we have depth charges and hydrophones, we can pair these 2 guys with some torpedo boat destroyers. So 1 torpedo boat destroyer will come over from A20, and then another one will come over from, A35. All right, then our final combat that we have is going to be here from Belgium into Western Germany. There's a river crossing penalty. And also remember that because it's the fall-winter, combat is only limited to 1 round. But we're going to see if we can do as much damage as possible. Here's what we have in Belgium. It's a fighter, 2 tanks, 5 artillery, a cavalry, and 9 infantry. All right, let's roll for the naval action first. And he has 3 submarines that have first strike at a 3. And all of them miss. Wow. All right. We have 2 seaplanes at a 3. Both miss. And then we have 2 torpedo boat destroyers at a 4. And they miss. All right. So actually, I think the presence of the torpedo boat destroyers removes the submarine's first strike. I'll have to remember that for future reference. I know that's how it works in the 36 game. At least destroyers do that. In the 36 game, torpedo boat destroyers and destroyers are 2 different types of units. But I think depth charges and hydrophones allows torpedo boat destroyers to remove the first strike ability from submarines. So It didn't really impact this battle at all, but definitely have to remember that for future battles. Okay, let's go from, let's do the African battle. So we have an artillery first strike. There's no terrain penalty. Artillery first strike at a 4. That's a miss. And 2 infantry at a 2. Both misses. And then 1 infantry at a 3. Oh, and there's a hit. All right. So at least we got something. And then he has 1 at a 2. That's a miss. And then he's got 1 at a 4. And that's a miss. Okay, so he will lose his colonial and have just an infantry left. Okay, now for the big battle into Belgium. Our Belgium into Western Germany, that is. And we will have some dogfighting here because both sides have a fighter. And he's got, of course, he's got a trench line. He's also got 4 artillery at a 4, and then those 7 infantry at a 6. Okay. We're going to have 5 artillery at a 4. I'll just show you guys. Here's what it looks like. 5 artillery at a 4, 1 cavalry at a 3, 2 armor at a 3, 1 fighter at a 3. Oh, wait, I thought he had a fighter. Yeah, he does. I'm going to have to go get that fighter. And then 4 infantry are going to get boosted to a 2, and then the remaining 5 will be at a 1. And I'm going to go get this German fighter real quick. And he will be at a 3. All right. Let's do air superiority first. So each fighter will get a shot at each other at a 3. And both miss. All right. Artillery first strikes. We have 4, 5 on our side. So we have 5 at a 4. And 2 hits. All right. Very good. And then he gets 4 back in return. And he gets 2 hits. Okay, so let's see. Britain will lose 2 infantry. So that will give us 3. Left at a 1. And Germany will lose, let's see. Germany could lose the fighter. We wouldn't have to upgrade it next turn, but if we want to buy a new fighter, it's going to cost us $7. So, I don't know, that's an expensive loss. Let's lose an artillery and an infantry. Okay. Now for the British infantry, We have 3 at a 1. All misses. We have 4 at a 2. There's a hit. We have a cavalry and 2 tanks at a 3. And there's a hit. Now, keep in mind that because we have 2 tanks, that increases the threshold for Germany to maintain a trench line. So ordinarily, because they have defense in depth, that would be 4 infantry. But now they need 6. So they have 6 infantry right now. So they still do maintain the trench line even after the first strike attacks. Okay, so we logged that hit, and that's all the rolls that Britain will get for the rest of this battle. All right, Germany has 6 infantry at a 6. And they get 2 hits. It's a little bit less than average there. All right, so we got to count for 2 more hits on both sides, and Britain will lose 2 infantry, and Germany is going to lose... Oh, man. I think because the British have so many tanks, I mean, they got like 2 more back in Picardy. So we want to preserve our infantry, so I'm going to lose 2 artillery. All right. So Britain has 5 infantry left, a cavalry, a fighter, 2 tanks, and 5 artillery. Germany has 1 fighter, 1 artillery, and 6 infantry left. I'm going to get these back on the board. All right, now for Britain. Okay, I wish that would count towards our mandatory offensive for next turn, but unfortunately it does not. We did manage to do a little bit of damage, take some of their artillery out, which, you know, for Germany is pretty expensive to replace, so I will take whatever we can get there. All right, let's go to non-combat moves. We're going to send a transport from I3, and he's going to utilize this major port here in Madagascar and go up 1, 2, 3, and go into port in Maharashtra. This other naval transport will take this Gurkha and funnel him over to southern Iraq. So that will give us 2 Gurkhas in southern Iraq. All right, and then over here, we have a transport in Gibraltar. He's going to come out of port, go 1, 2, 3, go into port in the British Midlands. And we have a dreadnought that's in port in London. He's going to come out of port, go 1, 2, 3 here in A28. And the reason I'm doing that is because I think we get a victory point if we have a dreadnought in the Mediterranean Sea. So, next we're going to take everything we have that's currently in Picardy and place them into Belgium. So that's 4 infantry. That will give us a total of 9 infantry. So I think we basically replaced what we lost. And an artillery and 2 tanks will also join. So we will have 4 tanks and 6 artillery. All right, a fighter is also going to go down into Belgium, giving us 2 fighters. And then we're going to send down, including with the transport, so 1 infantry and the 2 tanks in London will use this crossing right here through the English Channel. And then we're going to load up these transports with the rest of these guys, the other 2 infantry in London and the infantry and the artillery in British Midlands. And actually, you know what? Take that back. I'm going to load up 3 infantry in London. So I'm still going to send the guys over from the British Midlands. So they will go over. We're no longer entrenched there, so I can remove that. I'm going to start. We really need some reinforcements down in North Africa. So I'm going to load up 3 infantry from London on our Olympic-class ocean liner. And he is going to go... Now, keep in mind, because we attacked these German subs, all these German subs are submerged, so they can't attack us. But we're using a strategic naval move anyway, so they wouldn't be able to attack us regardless. So the 3 infantry that are in London, they're going to get loaded up on the Olympic-class ocean liner and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. End up in port in Gibraltar. And we'll drop those infantry off there for now. And I think that will do it. All right, let's place some units. Oh, wait. I think we're going to take the rest of the fleet that's in port here in London. We do have a torpedo boat destroyer that's in port here in London, and I'm going to put him on escort duty in A20 to replace the guy that we moved during the combat phase. But these 4 dreadnoughts, they're going to move into A11 and join this other fleet in the blockade. So the fleet now has 2 cruisers, 4 pre-dreads, 4 dreads, a French dreadnought, and a French pre-dread. Okay, now I'm ready to place units. Fighter will go, our free fighter will go down into London. Artillery cash and carry goes into Washington, D.C. Our other artillery I'm going to place down here into South African Union. Likewise, in South African Union, I'm going to upgrade a colonial to an infantry. So that would give us 3 infantry in South African Union. Going to place down 2 infantry in London. 2 cavalry will go into northern England. One trench fighter will go into London. 1 trench fighter will go into the British Midlands. And then all that we have left to place are our colonial. I forgot. I got an infantry here in Portugal. I'm going to rail him to Gibraltar as well. Okay. And then I will replace him with a colonial so that we can collect that dollar. Our final 2 colonials, one will go into Eastern Egypt, and then the last one will go into Western Egypt. All right. Now let's collect some income. Our base is 39, and let's see how much bonus we get. Oh no, only 3. That sucks. All right, so we will collect $42 and have 42 in the bank for next turn. And that will do it for Britain. Next up will be Austria-Hungary. As always, thanks so much for watching. Until next time, take it easy. Bye for now.